Okay, so we're looking at a video just to help us use the percentages to help us describe what's happening with data. So this is a question from the short response that you might have seen before. We're measuring, my pen's way off. So we're measuring cows, number of farms times 10, milk production on the solid line in megalitres, and number of cows in thousands. So again, like you might actually set up a table. So the number of farms in 1976 is halfway between 11 and 12, but because we're multiplying by 10, that gives us 115. And then so for instance, in 1981, it's down to 110. And then the line here is pretty steady decrease, so the last number is over here at 2006. Okay, so it's a steady increase, there's not much change. It's halfway between 7 and 8, so it's down to 75. So if you're describing it, you know, it's decreased by 5 farms or it's decreased by 40 farms, but as a percentage, what's happening? Okay, so we're talking about percentage changes. Okay, so in the first 5 years, it's decreasing by 5. Okay, by 5 farms. Okay, that's one bit of information, but the original number was 115, so 10% of 115, just knock off the last number, so it's about 11 farms. So if it's decreasing by 5 and 10% is about 11, therefore it's about a 5% decrease. Okay, so 11 farms, because we're starting at 115, we can just pretend to knock off the last number, so it's about a 5% decrease. And overall, the overall decrease is, you have to do a subtraction, and you end up with 40 farms. So 40 farms decrease, and we know that 11 farms is 10%, so therefore, how many 11s in 44, so it's about 4, so it's about a 40% decrease. Okay, so that's how you would not only describe the change as a number, but as a percentage. And there again, they're approximate. People know that you don't have a calculator. Okay, so let's have a look at, again, my pen is way off. Okay, so looking at milk production. Now don't worry that it's in megalitres, we'll just look at the numbers. So the milk started at 5 in 2000, in 1976 it started at 5, in 1981 it went down to 4, so it decreased by 1 megalitre, but if it's going from 5 to 4, it's decreased by 1, and now this time we can't knock off a 0 because we've only got one number, but it's decreased by 1, and the original number was 5, so 1/5 is about, obviously, 20% decrease. So 1 megalitre is 20%, whereas here, this 5 decrease was only a 5%. So we could talk about comparing the number of decreasing in farms, but the cows have actually produced a lot less milk, things like that. And then after that, it's a steady increase, pretty steady increase there. So from the starting base of 4, it's then increasing up to about 7. So it's increased by 3 megalitres. But because it started at 3, again, we can't knock off a 0 to get our 10%. But if it started at 3, if it started at 4 and it's increased by 3, then 3/4 is about a 75% increase. And overall, it's gone from 5 to 7, but we need to describe this change first and then the increase there. So overall, it's gone from 5 to 7. So you could say overall, it's gone from 5 to 7, and so it's changed by 2. And so overall, there's been a 40% increase. So again, it's been a 40% increase, but the number of farms has decreased by 40%, yet milk has increased by 40%. So you could, point out as a something that's an interesting comment. And the last thing we look at is the number of cows. Now again, these are in thousands. So this number here is 2,000. and this number here is 1500. So you could say the number of cows has decreased in that period there by 500. And now this is where we knock off a 0. So the 500 decrease, and how many lots of 200 are in 500? Well, there's 2.5. So that means we've got a 25% decrease. So we've got, the number of farms has decreased by 5%, milk has decreased by 20, and the number of cows has decreased by 20. So there's a definite relationship between those two numbers, that milk has gone down by 20, cows have gone down by 20. So there's definitely a correlation there. And then after that, there's no change in the number of cows, so 0% change, but milk has gone up 40% overall, and it's actually gone up by 75% in the same period. So as cows haven't changed, milk has gone up by 75%. So you could say, well, obviously efficiencies have improved. You don't have to say what efficiencies, but you can point out all these different correlations. Once you have percentages, then you can make comparisons. Okay, so hopefully that helps. But we'll just do another couple just on the next page. Not an AST question. So for instance, if something has increased from 50 to 80, what is that as a percentage change? If something has started at 150 and it's decreased to 60, how much is that as a percentage change? Can you have a go at that just using what we've done and to see if you can get the right answers, and come back when you're ready. Okay, so the increase is 30, so we knock off a 0, so 10% of 50 equals 5, and how many 5s are in 30? And the answer is 6, so it's a 60% increase. Okay, in this next one, it's decreased by 90. We knock off a 0, so 10% of 150 equals 15, and then 15 into 90 goes 6 times, so this is a 60% decrease. So it's nothing to do with the raw number. Like here, it was an increase by 30, here was a decrease by 90, but they were still 60% of what you started with. So you always compare to what you started with to make your percentage changes. And then it is a simple thing. You don't have to be perfect. If you had said 50, you'd probably be too far out, because 5 15s are 75. So you just do your division and you should be fine. Okay, hopefully that helps.